Well, we've arrived at a conclusion. I spend a week with my guests. In reality, I spend maybe 4 or 5 hours with them, and it's always quite sad when we come to the end. I say it every week, but I spend 2 hours on a pre-chat and then whatever it takes to record. I build a relationship with these guys, so it's really sad. Anyway, Tracey, the cancer survivor, to an inspirational force, let's say. Tracey's journey has shown us what's possible when we embrace our challenges. It's the final installment today, so she shares her vision for the future and the surprising lessons that only come from looking back at life's toughest moments. Now, how can you own your own story, and how can it become a beacon of hope for others? Don't miss this emotional and empowering conclusion that will leave you, I believe, ready to take on any challenge life throws your way. Here's Tracey on Leading Our Own Way. Please subscribe to our channel. Go to them all and support us. Give us a share. Leave some comments as well if you want. I'm not asking for too much, I promise. Here's Tracey. Have a great weekend. Oh, I bet. So yeah. you said you put the journals in a drawer. What prompted you to finally revisit them then?
I think when COVID hit, and then knowing, what was going on at that time, I started to think, gee, I've had this long life and I've gone through a lot, and I've got to this point, and I remember that journey, and here I am, I'm still surviving and thriving in my life, and maybe I can do something and help someone else. And I know that time there were a couple of famous people who'd passed away, and they were my age. And then I'm also now the age that my grandmother was when she passed. So I think there were a few things playing out in my mind that, what am I leaving for my children about my journey? They really know I went through the journey, but they don't know the intricate parts of it. I've just briefly discussed it. And my 2 sons are always so busy, so they hear bits and pieces. And I thought, I need to leave something. And I remember my brother videoing some of my grandfather was one of 12 children, and my brother videoed chatting to one of the siblings. And I thought, wow, that's all been recorded for future generations.
Yeah.
This is important stuff for my family, for my future generations. And sometimes we can find similarities in experiences, or we can learn something from each other's experience. So I guess that was the big thing, the healing, leaving a legacy, and being able to hopefully help someone out there who might be facing a similar journey. Yeah.
Hence why we're here today.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I love your podcast too, because I think that doing all of the talks with all your guests have really put stories out there that can help others. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I always say, as long as it helps one person, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But then again, they're there forever as well, right? As long as YouTube and Spotify and Apple exist, they're there. Or on my computer, someone might find one day in the rubble.
Exactly.
I wrote 3 words down when we met last time, and I don't think we delved into it on purpose, because that's the purpose of it. I want my reactions to be authentic as much as possible. But I wrote down the 3 words. They seem to have a significance for you. Treasuring the now.
Yes. I think that part of the journey, realizing, I think when you first hear that word, for me, when I first heard that word, you have cancer, I contemplated, well, how long have I got? Am I going to have a short time? Am I going to recover? Am I going to be a survivor? So then it became living in the now, because I was, okay, let's do what I would like to do now. Don't put it off for another day. Every moment is precious, and living in the moment was something that became quite significant. And it almost felt like your eyes are open to the world in terms of everything around you, not just your daily routines. So I started to appreciate going for a walk near a river, or, all those things that we take for granted that are there. A sunset. Sunsets became things, and I drive my family crazy saying, oh, stop, I've got to take a photo of that sunset, or, I take a lot of photos, and my family and friends are always rounded up. Let's have a photo, and I think I drive them mad with photos. But I think it's important that definitely treasuring the moment and living in the moment is something that's significant.
It really is. I think, when I first moved to Australia, I remember working in this beautiful school, and honestly, it was so colourful. Like, I remember the white and the blue. The playgrounds were all different colours. It wasn't grey like some are from where I'm from. And here in Australia, you get these beautiful birds that fly through the skies and through the school. And I call them parrots because they look like parrots to me. But I know they've got other names here, and I forget what they're called. That sounds so silly.
They could be rosellas or galahs.
Rosella, that's what I'm thinking. I couldn't think of them. I'm glad you saved me. And I know, actually, it just hit me because I've just looked down at your picture, and we'll get onto this, and I'll bring it up because we're significant of birds. And I'm not doing this on purpose, actually. This is a complete coincidence. But I remember seeing all these beautiful birds flying through the sky, and I think, wow. Everybody else, all the others Aussies didn't think about it. They didn't think about it because, it was just their normal life, right? But I've come from England, and I'm not used to seeing, so I'd see them through the sky, and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. And then when I went through the difficult time of being bullied at this workplace, those colours just slowly diminished. The colours of the birds, I didn't even see the birds anymore. I didn't acknowledge them. I didn't even see the colours of the school. I probably saw being around the kids as just energy sucking because my energy had already been sucked. Do you know what I mean? So the point of the story was the message. I think I just didn't see any of those colours. Anyway, I'm going to be truthful with the audience. We've just had a bit of an error. I've just acted like I carried on in a conversation, but as we had a bit of a technical issue, the internet cut off, and that's never really happened before on the show, guys. But Tracey, as we were off air, proceeded to tell me something, and I'm going to hold a picture. So it's kind of freaky, but very, very, very cool at the same time. This was not part of the episode, but we'd been cut off for about 20 minutes, and we had to allow the processing of an upload of the previous hour that we've been recording. And it's really odd that this has happened, but we promise you this is the goddamn truth, isn't it, Tracey?
Definitely.
So I'm going to hold a picture. And as you know, I've just been talking about birds.
You just have to tilt it to horizontal.
Sorry, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm doing it backwards, you see. And Tracey proceeded to tell me the significance of a bird in her life and how this was quite bizarre in the timing of our conversation and how it cut off. Tracey, you can explain it a lot better than me.
Okay, so birds are pretty significant to me.
Mm-hmm.
I see a little black and white wagtail when I'm thinking of my grandmother now, so that'll appear at different times. I have lots of crows that fly around me and things like that, and doves and things like that. So birds have always been pretty significant to my journey. I see them as they're flying freely. It's a bit like being resilient, flying up above your hardships and your challenges, ducking and weaving through all the challenges so birds are pretty significant for me. And when we talked about birds, that's why I use a bird as part of my brand. And it was funny that our episode cut out right when we were talking about birds, Andrew. It was quite bizarre.
We've had some magic appear on this podcast because I've had a live reading before now as well, and things came up on that live reading. I had to prove it and get my mum on the phone, and she acknowledged it, and it was bizarre. So this is very cool, but crazy.
Isn't it cool? It's very just cool. So interesting.
Interesting.
And the fact that you have a bit of a significance with birds as well. So
I don't know if I have significance of birds per se. It was more that I always use that example with my bully because I remember arriving and always seeing these beautiful birds. I never acknowledged the birds in England. Maybe it was a maturity thing. I don't know. But I just, when you have parrots, but you said there were rosellas, right? Was rosellas, right?
You can have different types of birds. So usually rosellas or cockatoos or galahs or something.
Yeah. But to me, they look like what I would call a parrot. And you just don't get them flying around in England. But here, you do. And I always remember acknowledging them. And I always remember I suppose, appreciating them in the moment because I was happy and I got a dream job on the other side of the world. And I'm this English dude in Australia going, I am loving it. I'm living the dream. I'm trying to connect and make friends. But then obviously being squashed after winning that damn thing, the Teacher of the Year award. And then it just kind of destroyed me. But I'm starting to embrace it now for what it represents. And it's not because I was a good teacher. It's I feel it's the ability to connect with people. And that's how I recognize it. I'm definitely not the best teacher at that school by far. So yeah, I always use that example of the birds because I just didn't see those birds anymore when I was in a dark space, and that could have been anything. It wouldn't necessarily have to be the birds. I didn't see the nice things in life anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Do you see the birds now, Andrew?
Well, I mean, I live at the beginning of the Great Ocean Road. I see some amazing birds. Yeah, absolutely, and I hear them even in some, darker areas of here, with the rougher areas, because I work in some really rough schools up this way as well, and they fly over there and I see them, even though I'm dealing with some dark stuff in the day of some, really troubled kids and some beautiful kids, but coming from some trauma backgrounds. And I look up and I count my chickens, or I look at the colour of the birds and actually notice them again. So yeah, because I'm happy, right? Simple.
Great.
I'm fulfilling my purpose. Coming towards the end then, Tracey, if you think there's something that we've missed that needs to be covered, and there might not be anything, this is not a pressure question at all, but I always like to ask it because I just want to give that space. Is there anything you think we've missed that needs to be shared with our audience?
If I'm thinking about a message that I'd love to share, is just to embrace your life. And I like to let it unfold and see where it takes us, because it can take us on all different types of journeys, and the detours can be just as amazing as where you thought you were heading. Sometimes there's a detour come up that you never expected. So for me, it's about embracing the journey and learning about yourself and also each other people, or every experience teaches you something and you grow in some way. One of the things I learnt, part of my journey too, was what's really important to you. So what is really important to you? And for me, it's not necessarily about the material things in the world. It's more about the connections, connecting with other people, because our relationships are probably for me, the most important thing. They teach us a lot about ourselves and each other. So that's probably one thing I love people to reflect on.
Beautiful.
What's really important.
It really is, and you've answered one of the three questions. As normal, you've answered the questions before I've answered. But one of my three final questions would be, what piece of advice would you give to anybody that's connected? I suppose on a more maybe connected to the topics we've covered within your journey. Is there any advice that you could give somebody that might be going through that cancer journey or the health journey? Then maybe.
I think for me, there's so many things that you go through, thoughts, and you might have questions. Always to seek out the answers to questions and ask lots of questions, because it's your journey, your health. You can ask your medical team, your doctors. Yeah, and sometimes I think sometimes we feel like we should be coping. And I think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes we may need support, and it's okay to reach out for support if you need it. So connecting in with people. I know that I felt like I was trying to protect everyone around me and not impact anyone's life, even with my cousin I was staying with. But once I did open up and share how I was feeling and reach out for support, that was such a relief. A load off my shoulders, and them as well, because they had questions. So I think, if anything, just to say to people, ask questions, look for support, and do what helps you cope with the emotions that you're going through. So finding strategy, all of those different things. Everyone is different. Everyone has different ways of coping with emotion.
Absolutely.
And finding the things that bring you peace and comfort. So some of those things that you enjoy. I know I enjoyed walking past a waterfall, or sitting under trees, or finding something that helped you to balance your emotions and feel calm. And
You say that you like it, but I think on a deep, innate level, our humans always used to connect to nature. That we didn't have a choice until we invented all these unbelievable, amazing things. So really, and I think on a deep level, our baseline is to be out in nature. I don't think there's anything else. Some people go, I don't like going outside. I think if they go and sit in a field, I don't care who you are. I know everybody, all these experts say we're all different and we all take it on different. But you know what? I cannot get it out of my mind. I just can't get it out. I think I don't care whether you like going out. I think if you go and sit somewhere on a beach or in a field or sit in the forest or wherever it is you just can connect with nature, I don't think you can help but not feel better.
And you're sitting there and you're getting the whole experience. So the nice breeze and the fresh air and
basics.
You hear the basic. You're seeing things and you're getting the whole experience.
Yeah. Future plans, Tracey. I always ask future plans because I want the viewers to understand you're not arrived at your destination. Even though you're leading your own way, that journey doesn't stop. It continues till the day we die. What are some of your future plans then?
Well, some of my future plans that tie in with this particular journey would be continuing to do support for other people living with the cancer or coping with the journey that I've had as well. So if they're discovering that they're being diagnosed with cancer, offering support, helping. But also I love doing the fundraising thing as well. So I did the biggest morning tea. I went to the Pink Lady on the G where they did the big breast cancer display on the G and just recognising breast cancer awareness.
Yep.
I'm also going to get involved with Sarcoma Awareness Month, so that's in July. So I know that there's plans for, I think, a few things with fundraising. I know that there was a plankathon being planned, so I thought that could be something to be involved in.
Absolutely.
So I think helping in that way, and also for myself, I may have grandchildren in the future. Maybe not too far away.
A whole new adventure. Are you trying to tell us something here, Tracey?
I don't know. Not yet. I'll just wait quietly. So I think that helping my family, giving back to the community. So I'm involved in Rotary Satellite Club, so doing some projects in that regard. And yes, I think I just like to see it unfold. And the coaching as it comes along and the business ideas that I've had and the keynote speaking, I want to do more of that, obviously. So there's a lot of things and it's just nice to see it unfold. And you think I used to think that 30 was old.
I know.
But getting to this age and I'm thinking I'm still feeling young and keen to do things. So
me too, apart from a pinched nerve on this side. But other than that, I'm all good because I'm walking like a weirdo at the moment. But yeah, I do feel young other than that. Yeah, and I need to get it fixed.
Hopefully you feel better soon, Andrew.
Yeah, me too. It's killing me. Probably sitting in this chair too much is not probably helping, even though it's a nice comfy chair.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me on the journey. But before I do, I always finish the podcast with a final question about purpose. And I always ask the guests just to put their purpose into one simple line. It's usually pretty clear by now what your purpose is. But again, I always ask for a one-liner. So, Tracey, go away with it.
My purpose, to help support others and empower them, that they can believe that they can do everything that they want to do and achieve. So beautiful. I think that's probably the big one for me.
Yeah.
Empowering others to feel confident and self-assured and that they can tackle some of the goals that they have on their list and want and achieve the things that they dream about.
Beautiful. And you're doing it, and we can see that from all these unbelievable things. Well, actually, whilst we close that down, I'm going to show this picture as well, because that's one way you are doing that, getting that message through. So absolutely fantastic. I'm showing a picture here of a speaking tournament in 2000. You've got top 100 speakers, is that right?
Yeah.
Amazing. And I want that. I want to do this.
Fantastic. You should do it, Andrew.
That's
it's
right.
really
I've got
great.
my speech prepared. Don't worry.
Awesome. I'd love to hear it, and tell me when you're going to be speaking and I'll definitely come and watch.
I will. I'll show you. I've got a couple of events I can share with you after the show.
Yeah, that's great. And I also started a bit of a podcast myself, although I only put one episode up.
Well, get it out there. Just keep doing it. Yeah, I love it. So
thanks so much for having me, Andrew. I've really loved our two chats.
Honour. Yeah, 2 chats split up, separated the bird. It was the bird's fault.
It was great.
Thanks, Tracey. Thanks for joining on Leading Our Own Way. It's been such a pleasure to have you on, and I know somebody will take so much away from this episode, and you're in an incredible journey and inspiration to many. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I've loved chatting to you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, me too.
Thank you.
Everybody else, Tracey and I, we wish you all the well. Keep leading your own way. Make sure you come back for another amazing, inspirational guest and journey next week. But until then, have a great weekend. Tracey and I, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for listening and watching Leading Our Own Way. So we can stay together forever and share more incredible journeys, please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss next week's episode and what that amazing guest has to offer to the world. Please support Leading Our Own Way, and we'll get you on next week's episode.